This is like one of those questions I think that could go bad, or people could be uncomfortable. What do you guys do like in terms of prayer life? Do you do adoration, rosary? What's your Lectio Divina? What's your kind of, if you don't mind me asking?
No, not at all. I would say for me, I had an interesting conversation with an Episcopal priest. I guess Episcopal priest, right? Yeah, minister. And we met at a kind of interesting time for me in my spiritual life, because I had come out of working in youth ministry and also doing music ministry, and for lack of a better term, I was a little burnt out, like practically speaking, just in terms of my spirituality. And we talked a lot about meditation, and that's something that for me I've done a lot more of in the past few years, is meditating on, whether it's scripture, meditating on like the life of a saint or something like that, just like meditating in general and really focusing in on one specific thing has been something new for me that has been pretty, I think the best way to put it would be kind of a fresh feeling in terms of like my spirit and prayer. So that's something I've been really doing a lot of lately, is just getting away from my phone, getting away from whatever, and just purely meditating and focusing kind of on one idea. Which prayer, obviously, like the rosary, things like that, we meditate on the mysteries, but it's been a little different for me personally to kind of bring that into my spiritual life.
I wanted to look up the author of this on my device. Like you were saying that, I'm like, oh, turtle dove. I need to not have this out. But it's like Catholic mindfulness.
Oh yeah. Dr. Greg Batara.
Yeah, he was like a CFR friar, total bro, and yeah, like I got into that. Like I had the it wasn't an audiobook, but it was like a book on my phone, and then it read it to me. So it's so funny. It was like Street Catherine of Siena. I'm like, it's Saint, but it's okay. It's okay, Google. And it just like in my head, I'm like, Street Gemma. It's like Street John Paul II. Anyway, but yeah, like that whole thing is just so cool, man. Like talking about the phone and these different distractions that we have, and I realized how much I was pulled outside of myself, like mentally, like distracted by all this blue light and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Like, it's like my phone at a certain time, it turns all orange because I cut the blue light out. But it's like, even just grabbing the steering wheel of the car and being like, wow, this is warm and like kind of squishy, and like being in the moment, you know? And like, I'm realizing like, I switched over to a flip phone for a while. So I didn't have a GPS, so I printed out maps and stuff. And I realized like, oh my gosh, there's trees next to the road and they're cool looking, you know, instead of like gazing into my screen. So just practicing mindfulness and like, wow, a tingly sensation in my toe, like going into prayer, and like my body is such a loud voice, you know, in my intellect and in my spirit, and I'm constantly like, ooh, I'm hungry, ooh, I have a headache, ooh, this, and it really guides me. But to place myself in the moment and go, hey, shut up, body, like it's time for some spirit, like it's time for some soul.
Going off of what you said though, I really like what you were saying, because just in the past couple months for me, that is how my spiritual life has that's just kind of how it's been. Like I have a lot, I mean, maybe this is part of being a woman too. I constantly have voices in my head all the time about things that are just lies, things that are not true about who I think of myself, or how I think of myself. And I think the remedy for that, I mean, there's so many different remedies, you know, you could say that are remedies, but I love adoration. And I know that's super cliche, so cliche, but those are the moments that I honestly just take time to just let the Lord speak peace into my heart, because every other time I'm so busy and so caught up in my own head and the things that are going on in my little world up here, that like it just gives me a moment to kind of check where those voices are coming from. And then it was so funny. The other day I was sitting in adoration and I was like thinking about all these things I had to do and thinking about all these voices. And then I remember just hearing the Lord say, hello, I'm right here. And he was like, you don't need to listen to those other voices. Just listen to my voice. And that was really cool. That was something that I just needed to hear. And I feel like that's what we all need to hear a lot. So
Absolutely.
that's just the simple, short answer for me. So
Absolutely.